Peter Obi, why you decided to support him as against...
Okay, first of all, I'll start by saying, as the youngest candidate in the history of Nigeria today, running for the House of Rep seat, I am clearly a youth and I'm a pro-youth. So therefore, the FCT constituency, which I plan to represent, are for the obedient movement. And
so guys, you can see that Peter Obi is winning everywhere. Peter Obi is winning everywhere. It's only the blind that will see. Even the blind has seen that Peter Obi is very competent, honestly. You see, everybody knows that Peter Obi, when it comes to competency, you know, Peter Obi ranks #1. We all heard what Wike said, you know, during Peter Obi's visit to his state. Is the one that is most qualified to be the president of Nigeria. So guys, I decided to share this video with you guys. When I watched this lady, my heart was so gladdened. So this lady has been in ADC, but now she said she wants to support Peter Obi. I want you to listen to her, you know, the reasons behind her support for Peter Obi. Just take your time and listen to what she's got to say.
A candidate for the House of Representatives for the Ahmad Buhari constituency in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, under the African Democratic Congress, recently stunned Nigerians on social media when she declared her support for the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi. In a tweet that went viral, barrister Juliet Isi Ikhaire declared her support for Obi after sharing a photo of herself and the LP presidential candidate. She's also asking for a more inclusive society where more women can be seen in elective and appointive positions.
They're actually in business and other sphere of life that can actually help and enable other women succeed in politics. So those things like that. And then you also see, and this also, without those women, it now gives women who are trying to come out, and the only aid they now have is relying on the men, and some men take advantage of these positions by making these women see it as a tit for tat. So you're either paying in a way which you may not want to, and so those things places women at a disadvantageous position not to go ahead or feel discouraged. So those are the challenges. But what we've been able to do so far is shun those intimidation, those harassment, but keep on moving, because we know Nigeria is at the point whereby they are now embracing intentional candidates with vision, and are ready to propagate these things, and they are very committed to doing so.
Right. And to discuss this and even more, we're now being joined in the studio by Juliet Isikare. She is, of course, a House of Representative candidate for Ahmad Buhari constituency of the African Democratic Congress, the ADC. Juliet, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's start with the fact that I do know that your party, the ADC, you have a presidential candidate in the person of Dumebi Kachukwu. You're seeking the House of Representatives, you know, people to vote for you, but vote for a different candidate for president. Talk to us about why, and isn't this going to be seen as an anti-party activity by your party?
Okay, absolutely not, because the ADC party in September expelled her presidential candidate, and we know by the constitution each candidate run on the platform of the party, and that's under the working committee of the RAF Wonsu, which has actually declared this. Yes, it's fine, he is actually a candidate under the INEX list, but the party does not recognize him, and so they've left all candidates, and that's what's happening today. No candidate is actually flying his flag, and it's unfortunate that is so, and that's what we are faced with.
No, that's not true, because here we did, that's correct me if I'm wrong, I remember I had Raf also here in the studio here on Newsnight, and we clarified the fact that INEX rule says you can only have 2 terms of 4 years as chairman. He's been chairman for almost 20 years, and I do know that you do have a board of directors headed by Senator Grace Akwoshiki, and they recognize Dumebi Kachukwu, and so does INEC on the website. ADC does have a candidate, and he's Dumebi Kachukwu. But beyond all of the party problems, I'm asking you as if this would not be seen as anti-party. You're not concerned about that at all?
I'm not concerned, because ADC has 2 fractions, which Nigerians clearly know. So actually those who actually sign reports to INEC is under the RAF Wonsu's government. And so until they rectify that, maybe by court action, which I don't think there's any judgment as to that effect, would actually give you clarity to if it's Akwashiki or Ralph Wonsu. But for now, the ADC candidates under Ralph Wonsu identify him as our
Okay, the second part of the question, Peter, will be why you decided to support him as against.
Okay, first of all, I'll start by saying, as the youngest candidate in the history of Nigeria today, running for the House of Rep seat, I'm clearly a youth and I'm a pro-youth. So therefore, the FCT constituency, which I plan to represent, are for the obedient movement, and which we had started before the whole issue of suspension or expulsion. And it will just it will clearly do me a lot of good and to my people to actually go for what the people want. And FCT is really just the clamor has been that, okay, yes, let's go for a nation that we actually demand accountability. And so actually I do not intend to go against my generation.
And under the platform that you're running, the ADC, right, the problem of accountability, you know, looms really large than the rest. And how will your supporters in the Federal Capital Territory take it? And already the PDP is made great inroads here back into, you know, the local councils and the rest.
The truth is that we have awoken a lot of people who have never voted in the FCT. FCT is known for people who have actually been docile over the years. And this is the first time we are seeing a high rate of youths and even non-indigenous going to go and pick up their PVCs. They've left the seat of the House of Rep and Senate to the indigenous over the years, and they've actually received it with great excitement, understanding that, okay, here's not just a youth, somebody who is actually has visions and want to see that everybody's carried along in the FCT, which was unlike what has been happening in the past. So it's a new regime, it's in charting a new course, and we're actually seeing that everybody participates in this election. Over time, they've not been doing a lot of voter sensitization, and that's what we've taken time to do. Come out, vote. You have a role to play in the FCT. People just come, live here, think FCT is just Maitama, Gariki, and a whole lot of places, forgetting that there are so many issues that needs to be addressed, talked about, and then spoken about in the whole in the House of Representatives and also in the Parliament of Nigeria.
Right.
Yeah.
And you talk about issues, and you say you want to go in there to address them. Highlight these issues for us and how you intend to tackle these issues that you speak of, especially for the betterment of those who reside here in the Federal Capital Territory.
Okay. Well, I'll start from the issue of the insufficient capacity of the classrooms. For instance, in Oshafa, the people are complaining of insufficient classrooms, and these are things that you can be able to liaise with the ministries of education, the health centers. We know the primary health centers across the 22 wards are in a dilapidated state. You go to places like Igushiri, they do not even have a working healthcare center system. We have places across Orozo, Kubwa, where I was even born and I reside, does not even have a good healthcare system apart from the general hospital which I was born into. So these are the issues addressing my people and talking about them or standing up for something the people want to see. We are tired of just centering so much money and finance on the private sector. What about those that the government have put over the years to actually cater for those who are not buoyant? And these have been affecting our land. Now, for instance, you look at Igu, they do not have a network. They actually go to the mountain to actually draw network. And these are places, people don't even know Igu exists in FCT. They just...
What area of the FCT is that? Really?
That's the Buhari Area Council. And that's so sad. And these are things that when you write to these various parastatals communication, they'll be able to address this, because we know that people will listen to or celebrate people in a place of influence. And that's what we want to do.
And are you really being able to convince them with such setbacks, you know, can't... have basic social amenities?
Yeah, because they've had representatives in the past. Minkajiba has been there for a bit of time now, and you're saying, you know, basic amenities is non-existent.
So what would you be telling them?
The truth of the matter is that we'll face a whole lot of, they do not even conceptualize, they don't understand these things because of the high rate of illiteracy in the land. And so we are planning to harness those who are literate enough, who can understand what a manifesto is, because these people are still tied to wanting tomato, pepper, onions, and Maggi than listening to a candidate who is interested in them. And over time, we've had people represent these people. What have they done in the past? I don't think there's any time they've stood up to actually chat something with respect to all these issues that pertain to people. And what about the non-indigenous, who actually speaks their cause, who actually pursues the issue of social injustice that ravage the people of the FCT? Everybody just think anything goes. You can harass, intimidate anybody here because nobody cares. So for the first time, we'll wake up the seat wake up the seats of the House of Rep and make people feel that truly FCT can have a representation. We know that people will listen to us celebrate people in the place of influence, and that's what we want to do.
And are you really being able to convince them with such setbacks, can't have basic social amenities?
Yeah, because they've had representatives in the past. Kajiba has been there for a bit of time now, and you're saying, basic amenities is non-existent.
So what would you be telling them?
The truth of the matter is that we face a whole lot of, they do not even conceptualize, they don't understand these things because of the high rate of illiteracy in the land. And so we are planning to harness those who are literate enough, who can understand what a manifesto is, because these people are still tied to wanting tomato, pepper, onions, and Maggi than listening to a candidate who is interested in them. And over time, we've had people represent those people. What have they done in the past? I don't think there's any time they've stood up to actually chat something with respect to all these issues that pertain to people.